So if you don't want to be seen on the screen in the YouTube video, then please just change your video and take it away. But we're also so pleased to welcome Carol Joy Cole with us, who is the director of Michigan's Summer Championship. And also she's been, Carol, I couldn't believe this, the director of the Flint, Michigan Backgammon Club since 1978. Okay, was there a bad year anywhere after that, Carol?
A bad year?
Well, I mean, a year where, I mean, has it been steady since 1978?
Yes, we never missed a year.
Wow, that's amazing, amazing. Especially in a place like Flint, Michigan, where it's not so easy to get to the bigger urban centers to play. So, and then also you were, inducted into the Backgammon Hall of Fame in the inaugural cohort in 2015. She's number 46 on the Giants of Backgammon 64 list. You've won 3 American Backgammon Tour tournaments, and we're so excited to have you here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, we'll be talking and going over and analyzing the match afterward. And so without further ado, everybody get started. And again, put any questions you have or anything you want us to bring up, just write it in the comments and I'll insert it in.
All right, and everyone is okay. They can see the screen okay on the board. Great, thank you. And away we go. All right, I've had plenty of time now to decide how to play this opening 5-3, and I've decided I'm going to play it this way.
Okay, good match, Art.
Good match, Carol. Carol has a winning record against me, so I have to play my best. All right, 6-4. I'm running out now that she has started building a prime.
I'm not going to hit on the ace.
Again, lacking any better alternative, I come out with a 6. Looks good to me. All right, and I miss. And I may as well not leave a shot. Race is close.
Rather than break the 8.
All right. Okay. Now, by the way, the score is 0-0 in a 3-point match. Now, it's easy to start thinking that, I'm not going to double here, but it's easy to think, oh, it's just money. It's an even match score, but it's not. It's a score where the taker's take point is around 25% instead of the usual 22%. So you have to be a little more aggressive on the double. All right, 6-5.
Now I'll break the 8.
6-4. Okay. Well, I hate to abandon my 8-point, but it's a choice between having no blots in my home board or 2 blots in a sort of inflexible home board. I'm just going to give myself the better board. I need some asset, some way in which my board is better than Carol's. Oh well. Like I said, I gotta be tough to beat Carol.
We're blacked out. How do they start playing?
I W.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm stuck behind a 5 prime. I'm not even at the edge of the prime. This would be a pass for money and certainly at this score. So I pass.
Okay.
Now at this score, it's 2 away, 3 away. And this is a score where I have an itchier trigger finger on that doubling cube than I would at a normal score, even itchier than the last score, especially once I start smelling gammons. All right, so when it gets gammonish, I'm highly thinking of doubling here. Okay, 5-3.
What am I duping 2s? Or if I do this.
That feels better to me. All right, so even here, I have to think, look, I might not double this at a money score, but here, it's definitely worth thinking about. I have a small lead in the race. Our boards are of equal size. I don't have much in the way of threats. I mean, I think if I don't know, I think if I hit twice and she doesn't hit me back, maybe I've lost my market, maybe not. since I'm not sure if I lose my market, even with a decent sequence, I'm going to roll. But again, and I wouldn't even think about it for money or at a normal score, maybe not even the last score, 0-0. But at this score, it's worth thinking about. I think if the score were 2 away, 4 away in a 5-point match, I think I do double here. All right. Anyway, here we go. Double 4. That was one of those great numbers.
Marty
1, 2.
agrees with you, no double.
Thank you, Marty. All right. And okay, now I have, so hitting is clear. What to do with the other 2 4s? There is the temptation, now that I have a big racing lead, to consolidate that racing lead by escaping like this, making a good point. On the other hand, when your opponent is on the bar, making inner board points has extra value like this, right? And I'm unstacking my heavy 6-point while doing it. You know, it does leave the blot on the 9-point vulnerable, but I'm sort of in attacking mode at this score. I see 9 dancing numbers where I think it's a cash if that happens. And I'm not too upset if I get hit back. So I'm gonna, because she's on the bar, I'm gonna make the inner board point. Okay, so again, now how gammonish is it? It's on the one hand, I have a lot of advantages. I've got a big racing lead. I've got a stronger board. I have a point made behind her anchor, which is not, half and half. I'm threatening to hit the other checker. It is getting gammonish. So I think because of this score, because of my itchy trigger finger when I start smelling gammons, I'm going to double.
Yeah, I don't think my 3-point anchor is good enough. I'm going to pass.
I might have taken that. 3-point anchor is often keeps, can't get too gammonish when you own the 3-point, but I'll be interested to know what XG or Marty says on the take. I wasn't sure about the double. It felt right because of the score. And as a result, I was expecting it to be a take. Okay.
So Art, we also have Kit Woolsey.
Hello, Kit.
So I don't know whether Woolsey's law applies there.
Absolutely, right? When in doubt, double. Clearly, good players can pass this position. So whether it was a take or a pass, Woolsey should suggest that I double. It did work out either way. All right. Oh, by the way, speaking of Woolsey and generally good theory of match play, it's a 2-point match, right? A case. Well, I have the opening roll, so I can't double here, but we'll take it from there. So I will play it this way.
So Marty says double was okay, particularly considering Woolsey doubling rule, and I would have taken plenty of winning chances, so duplicated to make a point and to hit. Agree with no double at Art's move. 3 double was okay, particularly considering the Woolsey doubling rule.
Okay. All right. And now here we are. Carol has made her play. Do I have market losers here? Can I potentially, the take point here is 32%. Do I threaten to become better than a 2-to-1 favorite on this roll? Not sure I see it. On the other hand, there's really no harm in sending it now because, as soon as someone has a serious threat, there's going to be a cube. So it can't be an error to double. So I will.
It's also a big take.
Big take.
Could you define what big take means, please, Carol?
It's an easy take.
Yeah, it'd be a big blunder to. She clearly has more than 32%. I was only a slight favorite in that position. So now we're playing DMP, double match point. The winner of this game wins the match. Gammons don't matter. All right, well, I've got a big racing lead, so there's no need to monkey around and make the 4-point. I just want to make this a simple holding game. Just bring the checkers in behind her. Clear that 13-point right away so that I activate double 2, 4, 5, and 6 so they can bring me home. Let's make sure there are no bad numbers here. Double 3 isn't awful. 3, 1, double 1. All right, I'll play that way. I was right to think about double 3. Again, it
Yeah.
wasn't awful. It's great for the race, but now I am much more likely to leave a shot. Your holding game just got a lot better. And all my 3s now are very awkward. Especially ones like that. All right, but I'm not going to leave you a shot because your board is so strong. I'm going to play 5-3 like this. I've got a big racing lead, so I don't care if you desert the 20 point. Be my guest. Another fun 3.
This one's good.
Yeah, well, this one good in a small sense. Yeah. All right, I'll play 3 like this. Keep a spare on the 6 point. My aces are still okay. Okay. There we go. All right, good. I got another spare 3 out of that. That was a good roll. I think I'll play the 1 here to save a 3. I don't know that that entirely makes sense, but that doesn't matter too much. Ha 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 ha. Okay. So I have to decide. Now the race has gotten closer. I'm up after this roll 17 pips. Gammons don't matter. So if I first look at the hitting play, and what does that give her? That gives her everything with a 3 in it, along with double 5. Right? I think that's it. So that gives her 12 numbers. And so if I play it this way, I'm kind of making it a 2-to-1 proposition, right? 24 numbers that miss, 12 numbers that hit. The 12 numbers that hit are pretty darn strong. I mean, I would need an immediate 3 to survive. And otherwise, I'm in pretty bad shape. But let's say, loosely speaking, if I play it this way, she wins 12 games and I win 24. The question is, if I play passively, that would be something like, I'm not sure. I mean, there's this, which of course makes the 5-point board. That's not bad, right? I'm still up 17 in the race, and she's probably going to run with that blot because she doesn't want to get hit. If she does run, we're back to sort of a regular holding game. And I know from experience that a holding game, a decent holding game, you have your winning chances somewhere in the 70 to 75% range. Maybe it's on the low end because of the fact that the race is kind of close. After her roll, let's say she rolls an 8 pips, it'll be 82 to 91. Would I double in that situation? I probably would if it were just a regular holding game. So I think my chances are in the low 70s. And we said that if I make the hitting play, my chances were like 2-to-1, 66%. So I'm going to not hit. And the last question is, okay, I'm not hitting, but am I making the right non-hitting play? Could it possibly be better to do this? Sometimes when wrestling between play A and play B, I forget to look at play C. This has sort of a better distribution. She probably still has to run off of that 10 point because it's not going to break her board. I'm not sure which of those 2 is better. I do like the look of this. I'm not really forced to leave any direct shots. I'm going to play it this way. It just looks so clean. All right. Okay, 5-4. So there is the 5. Here's the 4. I'm giving you an 8 shot. That's 6 numbers out of 36. And no reason to delay that. Okay, here we go. As I said, got to be tough to beat Carol. Oh, but maybe I am tough today. So let's see. There's 3. Let's get out of there with 6. All right.
Right back at you.
Oh, I love this. All right. That's great. Nice going there.
Exciting for the fans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Carol's going to continue her winning streak against me.
Ah,
All right. Now it's basically all done, but for the 1% chance here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just cross over. I think I have some Hail Marys to have a chance. 5, 4. Oops. Yes, it doesn't really matter. I need double sevens next turn. Nope. All right. Well done, Carol.
hooray.
I will beat you someday. Okay, I'm gonna put this into XG.
Well, while Art's loading up their match on the Extreme Gammon neural net software, I'd like to welcome particularly a couple of grandmasters, Marty Storer and Kit Woolsey, also Grant Hoffman, top player from New Zealand, who's been great about spreading the word about women in backgammon and our activities to players in New Zealand and Australia. Also welcome Raymond Kershaw, a noted backgammon author. So feel free to send in questions or comments you have about the match as Art and Carol go over the match.
You can also just unmute yourself and ask them yourself. But we have one question for you, Carol. How has backgammon changed since 1978? That's such a big question while you're getting ready to analyze.
Oh, certainly the computers have made a huge difference. It's made it easier for more people to learn on their own. And I think it has expanded our group of competent players. And certainly, you know, the internet has made a huge difference in us being able to play with people from all over the world, not just within our own small communities.
And then Art, somebody wants to know if the difference between a 3-point match and a 5-point match in terms of luck.
Sure. The shorter the match, the more luck plays a part. Also, the shorter the match, the more extreme the PRs are going to be. That is, you know, in a match that lasts 2 games, you can have easy decisions to make or hard decisions to make. And those hard decisions get magnified because it's a small match. So this match, my PR was a lot lower than my norm and a lot higher than Carol's norm. And I think it's because it was such a short match. If this had been a 5-point match or a 7-point match, I think we would have seen us both play, you know, closer to the average of those numbers, around 4, like as happened in our practice match last week. So I guess, shall we just go through the match? I think we have enough time. We can just run through it. And okay, so the 5-3, and anyone chime in as they see. Sometimes a play that's not an error is still one worth thinking about. All right, 6, 5-2, 4-6. Again, there was no other choice. Here was the double 4. And you know, we always need to play our doubles slowly and carefully because there's so many different ways to play them. And I think you have to come up with the first 2, 24-20, and then think about how to play the next 2. And Marty, do you want to say, because you commented right away during the match that that the correct play here was seems better to you. Go ahead and explain that.
Okay, so my thought was that I probably would have made the 16-point. Certainly, I would have made the 20-point and then made another point, whether it's coming out to the 16 or making the 4 or the 2-point. I think I would have chosen between making the 20 and 4 points, because the 4 point is a good inner board point. Or making the 16 point, which puts a lot of pressure on Art's blot outside Carol's outer board, because it blocks 6s and 3 for that checker to move. So my thought at the time was I would have made the 16 point because I'm ahead, you're ahead in the race, so 13 pips after rolling. So it's not a huge lead, but it's something. And you're controlling more outfield and making it harder for Art's back checker to escape by that extra outfield control. I think what Carol did was she made the 20 point and then she lifted the blot on the 11 point and then slotted her 4 point.
Right.
I would have made, rather than do that, I would have just made the 4 point, or even the 2 point, I think would have been better than the play Carol made. Or maybe even the 9 point, but I wouldn't do that. I'd keep the blockade against Art's outside block. So it says Carol's play, XG says Carol's play is a blunder, and then it's comparing apples and oranges, XGR plus evaluation versus a 4-ply evaluation about making the 4 and 20 points. I bet it's going to be closer than 038.
I like making the 16 point as well. I thought even though you stripped outside on the 16 and the 13, I like this play a lot.
Thanks, Antoinette. All right, let's continue. 6-5, and whoops, I'm gonna move to arrow notation. All right, so 6-5, I clean up the blot. Carol makes the point. I play safe. All right, so here it says I should be taking a chance and slotting the 7 point. Now, why do that? After the play, the race is even. I have 1 fewer checker back. I'm not trying to do any kind of a priming game. I don't know. Normally, I can look at a XG error and say, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. I should have applied the bold versus safe criteria, or I should have asked, what was my game plan? And I'm not sure I still can read XG's mind on this. Does anyone want to offer insight here?
Well, all right. So it's concentrating on, it's more concentrating on building your board than is 13-2. And 13-2, the fact that you momentarily have those 2 blots in your board means that Carol is freer with her checker plays, or her checker plays gain a lot more. Now, suppose she brings 2 down from the midpoint, trying to build a point in her board. Now, if you were normally, let's say she rolled a 3-2 and brought 2 checkers down, then you'd have a few numbers to hit those blots. But if you hit them right away, hit one of them right away, then she's got a double return shot back at you.
Right.
Blots on her board. And she might even consider, let's say with a 3-2 or a 2-1, she could make her 4 point instead of bringing builders, or she could make her 5 point with a 2-1, leaving a blot, but then taking advantage of the fact that you have blots in your board. And if you bring 2 checkers down instead, then she could hit you with a 2. But like, not all 2s are so great. Like 2-1, for example, she wouldn't hit you. I think she would still just make her 5 point, because the 1 is so bad. She just breaks her 8 point or slots her 5 point into an effective double shot. And so this way, with bring 2 checkers down from the midpoint, you only leave you're only leaving 1 blot on your board. And if you don't get hit, then you can make your 4 point, or you can make your bar point, or even both sometimes. And then if you get by the next roll and you improve your position, then Carol's got a tougher time improving hers. That would be my quick analysis.
So I guess what you're saying, Marty, is that the hitting with a 2 is not as bad as getting hit normally is. If we look specifically at the 2s, rolls like 2-1, 2-3, 2-4, 2-6, leave a lot of return shots for me anyway.
That's right. And you do have a blot on your board, but you only have 1 instead of 2. And
yeah,
like 2-1 is not the greatest. 2-6 is not the greatest hitting number. So
right.
it's
And
just a
2-3
scramble.
and 2.
If you get hit, if you start exchanging hits, it's just a scramble, and it's almost anybody's game. I mean, you would have a bit of an advantage, but
Right.
not so much really.
Yeah, and and after all, it is only 11 numbers that hit. 25 don't. If I know you're not hitting, I'll gladly slot the 7 point. And if I know you're hitting, a lot of those hits, again, 2-1, 2-3, 2-4, and 2-6, are no bargain. They leave more blots than would normally happen in a holding game position like this. So, okay, thank you for clarifying. 3-1, make the 5 point. 6-4. Oh, and I thought about this for longer than I should have. It was saying, what are you thinking about? I don't like to give up my 8 point. I think the 8 point is an asset. I don't like to play behind the anchor. It just looks so pretty. I had to do it. But, there was a non-trivial probability that I might have played. If I were playing speed, I might have gone 13-3. And look how big a blunder that would have been. So I got lucky in a way. All right. And then my fate was sealed. And if anyone wonders whether it was a take or not, it was 1.64 if I took. Even though, let's pause for a moment, even though I have an 11 pip lead, people who religiously adhere to position, race, and threats might say, hey, I've got the race. They give them position and threats. I've got the race. But once the game has taken some form, you can even see this position in I think, Kit Woolsey's Encyclopedia of Backgammon, Volume 2 has a whole thing that once you're behind that 5 prime, especially if you're not at the edge, it's a very, very, very hard to take. All right.
Can we go back to the 4-2? Did Carol have a double the move before?
You know what, Kara? Yeah, Kara. It did have it is a borderline double, at least on first blush. Let's see what a quick single plus says is yes, and double plus. So then the answer is yeah, it looks like a borderline double. And part of this is because of the score. At 3 away, my take point is elevated. It's not 22%, it's like 25%. So yeah, a double would not have been wrong. And clearly there were some market losers. Can we get to 9 by O'Hagan law? Double 2, double 1, 4-2, double 6, double 5. That's a lot of numbers right there. It's not 9, but it's close. That's why it's close double.
Well, you don't need 9, I don't think. Okay, you could look at it two ways. You need 9, but it's easier to get a market loser at the score. Or you could say, oh, I need fewer market losers because the non-market loser is better because your take point is higher.
That's right. So if it was a money game or a money score, this would not be a double. But at this score, I don't have O'Hagan's not here to correct me. So maybe instead of needing 9 market losers, you only need about 7. And that's, I think, what we have. So, all right. Next game. Gosh, Daphne, what time is it in Australia?
It's 10:40 in the morning.
Okay, not too early. That's good.
No, it's great time.
All right, fantastic. Okay,
Actually,
next.
remember when you had the blood on the 7? You should have played 2 down from the midpoint.
Yes.
I think in the first game, I think the reason why you can do that is because Carol's not very likely to want to hit you at all. She's not likely to give up her 5 point. What her game plan is to try to make her board stronger. So because she's not likely to hit you, you might as well put it there and use it more constructively rather than putting a blood on the 2.
Right. She'll hit with double 2 and 2-5 happily, and the other 2s she might hit with mixed feelings or not at all. I agree. Right. Like 2-1, as Marty said, might be especially bad.
I mentioned that you and Michi will be on in February, so people are looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. Next game was a quickie. Oh, 4-3. Interesting. So, this is interesting because 4-3 ahead in the score. I would have probably played the way Carol did. I haven't memorized how to play everything at every score. And I know that the opening 4-3s are pretty equivalent, and I would have thought wanting a less gammonish game that you would go for the advanced anchor, but it says make the more aggressive play down play. Can somebody explain that?
Okay. So first of all, on XG, you're showing a 4-ply analysis for 13-10, 13-9, and you're showing a book, the XG book on the others. And I know XG has a book that's at the score, right? So, okay, so it's very close now. It's nothing to choose between the top three.
Oh, good. Because I didn't understand why the more aggressive play would be the right play when ahead in the score like that. And it's saying, no, go ahead and make the normal play upon reflection. Great, thanks. All right, I hit. She comes out. Says that it might have been okay to go 24-18 here. I don't generally like to have blots on the 7-point and 4-point, 7-point and 5-point because of all the double hitting numbers. But here it says that's right. Aggressively going for an advanced anchor. I get a great number and I misplay it. So of course you have to make the 4-point. And normally when you have a checker on the bar, it's right to make another point. And here it says, no, it would have been slightly better to make the run with the 24-16 or come down 13-9. It's a small error.
So Art, you might be missing the fact that the XG is recommending not hitting at all.
Oh, wow, right. I did miss that.
But that's just because you're ahead in the race and your doubles are going to be very efficient from here.
So it was such a strong roll. I'm so close to a cube that I shouldn't be taking any chances, I guess, is what it's saying. Okay, I can understand that, right? After this, I was 6 points ahead in the race. After my double fours, I'll be 22 ahead minus the roll. So that's like about 14 ahead. I'll have the 9-point, which is strong. I can see that. So I didn't think about that play. I just immediately jumped at hitting on the 4-point because how wrong could that be? All right, Carol makes the 3-point and then I offered a double. I wasn't sure about it. XG says it's small. A 3-point game is usually a take because you have equity till the very end. Not too gammonish, but maybe a little more gammonish than might expect. Just too much winning chance to give it up. But because of the score, I had to double. Any other comments, thoughts? Okay. And then the final game, I come down 4-3. And even here, it's okay for her to double. Again, technically, it's never wrong to double at the first opportunity in a 2-point match. And if you're playing somebody that you think is stronger, then just do it right away. You don't want to be the one to make the mistake. And so following that advice myself, though I could have not doubled, I said, let's double. I don't want to make a mistake. And then double fours was correct, hitting 6-2. And here it says Carol should come in not on the 5-point, but on the 2-point to give herself a safety, a rear guard, and play the 5, 21-16. And 6-5, it's tempting to make the 15-point, but it also relinquishes the 4-point, right? So it makes it easier for me to play behind her. And so that's, I think, the source of that error is keep the checker on the 21-point. If you could move it backwards, you would. And then we just play to...
I have a question about that play.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Carol's play, the 6-5, 6-4, if she's playing...
Right here.
Yeah, this one. 6-4 is clear. Why isn't she playing 8-7 to try to diversify, to increase the speed with which she can make her board?
Oh, with the ace.
With the ace. Why play 6-5 instead of 8-7?
Because the 8-point is a good point. If I want a little prime there.
But aren't you interested as well in aren't you more interested in making the inner board point? And by going 8-7, you diversified to potentially do that quicker?
Yeah, I did think about it. I definitely thought about it, but I still have chances to make, that 4-point. But I thought it was valuable to keep the 8-point at this stage.
Yeah, it's not even in XG's litany. I'm wondering.
Well, that's my question.
That's
my question. What the heck is 6-5-4-2 doing up there?
Well, I don't know what kind of search space it's got, but 6-5-4-2 is obviously a crummy play. It's probably none of these are too bad. I would have played. I would have played 6-4, 8-7 myself. 8-7 scarcely hurts anything at all. Carol's not going to get a shot in forever, right?
Yeah, right.
It's going to be a long time before Art's forced to leave any shots. The long-term goal has got to be to make the inner board rather than keep the 8-point. But it's like now it's if you look at, I guess plus is all coming in, so it says all right. So plus even says 6-5, 4-2, which is why I don't know why you play 4-2. It just looks
It looks
the
bizarre.
you're wasting. So
Yeah.
I guess one of the lessons is that extreme gammon doesn't often always know what it's doing when it's bearing checkers in and making these little tiny. You might make a tiny mistake in a position like this. Like Harold's move, it might be a very tiny mistake, 6-5, 6-4, if it's a mistake at all.
And
right?
here it's not, right? On double
Here,
plus.
here, extreme gammon says it's not a mistake, but although it likes 6-5, 4-2 by a minuscule amount, less than 0.001, but which is silly. It's just like a human would never do that.
No, right. If you ever see a player do that play against you, you know they're using a bot.
Yeah, if they're playing live, they've got a little bot inside their ear canal, or they've got.
Would you scroll down and see if the move is there at all? The 8-7-6-4 move.
Oh well, I wasn't doing that on the. There it is.
There it is. So but it went to the one-ply filter, which is very strange. And there it is. So it's coming in. It's coming
All
in.
right, Stuart wins.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you are vindicated by 0.002. You can spend that. You can spend that as a galaxy coin, I believe. All right, moving on. All right, double 3, which I thought looked pretty bad. And it said that I played it just a little fast. I should have saved a 3, it says, right? That is, I played it this way, and it said, no, give up the 4-point and save a 3, keep a spare on the 6-point. It's not about hitting, it's about just getting behind Carol. Which I do on the next one. All right, so here it says, leaving the shot is brave, but slightly wrong. And then the question I debated over was to hit or not to hit. And that would have been an error. Now let's single plus these two. All right. And the numbers were close to what I was saying. I said, if I make my play, I thought my chances were around 70%. I was off by 3. I said, if 3%. I said, if we make the other play, that I win 2/3 of the time, 24 out of 36, 67%. And I was also off by 3. But relatively speaking, the comparison was right, that the non-hitting play was about 5% better than the hitting play. Okay. And the hit. And the hit back. And the hit back. And double 5s.
Should I have safetied that guy?
Well, no, you did. It was not about safetying. It's about putting out an extra builder for the 3-point. So your play gives you 2 direct covers for the 3-point, and the play they like gives 3 direct covers for the 3-point. So I guess the race is close enough that you're still eager to close me out, and my board is strong.
Right,
So,
and this the other way, double 6s leaves a direct shot, whereas double 6s makes the 3-point the other way.
Right.
So instead of 2 ways to close the 3-point, you've got, I think you got, you have 9.
at the cost of 2 immediate shots this way, the recommended way. Oh, I guess is there 2 shots?
There's 2 shots this way. Carol could have lifted 9-4, but that's a little inflexible. The race is still close. If you get in right away, you might get lucky and get missed and then be able to run. So there's a premium on building that 3-point.
Right. It doesn't mind going 9-4, it says.
Not too much. 0-3-1. That's not so great.
And
better than Carol's play, interestingly.
then because the immediate, she's winning over 80% of the time. So getting hit is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
So the question is it worth leaving the extra shots, the 2 extra shots? And the answer is, if you're getting 3 covering numbers instead of 1 or 2, then yes. All right. And then I don't know if anything interesting happens after this.
No,
Nope.
that had to have been right. Carol's safe play had to have been right, I believe, with 5-4.
Yeah, at this point, you're practically 90%. So there's no need to take small risks for big gains because there's nothing big to gain. Okay. And then there we are.
Oh, I'll close it out.
Yep. Questions, comments?
Well, okay, we got it
Requests?
done in an hour. Was a shorter match than normal, but thank you both for coming so much, and hope everybody learned a little something and had a great time. And Karen, you want to talk about next month?
Yes, but I think Donna Lafferty also wanted to see the luck factor. Can you put up the summary again? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
So Carol had that.
Slight luck over me.
Yes, as Chris, thank you very much, Howard and Carol, for being willing to do this. It's intimidating sometimes to play in front of a big audience, so we very much appreciate it.
My pleasure.
As I said, we will be doing these the second Tuesday of every month. So we are really privileged to have Michi Kajiyama. Will be on February 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, along with Daphne Downs, who's been with us this evening. Don't know what hour it is in Australia, but thank you for joining us. So I think many of you know Michi. He's the #2 giant of backgammon, #3 on the BMAB Grandmaster list, and a noted author and lecturer. We read his books like the Bible, including Opening Concepts, In-Game Technique, and his latest book, The Back Checker Strategy. And really delighted to get to know Daphne. She's had the privilege of studying with some of the best teachers in the world, Paul McGrill, David Presser, and many others. So do tune in on February 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll continue the series. This thanks to Blue Shoe for their sponsorship this evening. Again, thank you for being with us.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Someday.
Thank you very much. It was fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks,
Carol.
Art and Carol.
Thank you,
Karen.
Marty.
See-
Thank you.